Hello everybody, hope you lot are doing well, hope you lot are having a good day. And since FC25 is just around the corner, I've decided to go back to memory lane and revisit all my FC24 career mode series on my channel. And give them a little ranking from worst to best, in my honest opinion. But that's not all I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be showing a little bit of behind the scenes, things you didn't know that I said in the videos. So I did 6 career modes, so we're going to rank them from 6th to 1st. 6th place was West Bromwich Albion. Now, this is a bit of a shocker, to be honest with you, since they won my 92 seasons mode last time. I thought, great. I just want to clarify, I was an idiot. I was a complete idiot. I rushed too quickly, and the reason why I downloaded the old gen instead of the new gen, so it wasn't the best quality, and I absolutely blundered it. And I was so disappointed. That's why I ranked them 6th place, is because I played with all the old gen and I didn't notice it. It was funny because my brother was getting all the 90-minute celebrations, all this new thing, and I'm thinking, I haven't got none of that. Have I broken the game or something? And then afterwards, my brother just realised it, and I was like, oh, I just done a whole series with the baggies and that. Yeah, so that was my bad, to be honest with you. But there are other reasons why I didn't think West Brom lived up to the expectations I really hoped to. But first, I want to say I had 2 main goals while doing this career mode. One, beating all the Birmingham clubs. That's why I done that whole hit list thing with Birmingham, West Brom, Aston Villa. And second of all, signed 2 players, Serge Gnabry and Lukaku, because literally those two are 4 players who used to play for West Brom. Infamous, and literally some of them were great, some wasn't, as you may notice. As it was my first time playing the game, I'm actually glad I stick to counter-attack and football, because that's what type of football I enjoy the most personally. It's just literally everybody running forward, getting the crowd up hype, and you can see most of the goals I scored were literally on the counter-attack, and I was quite happy with that. I didn't really enjoy conceding goals. That seems to be the problem. A little joke I get running in season number 1. It was just like I was winning 5-0, 90 minute 5-1, and I was literally behind the camera. I was fuming because it's good to keep a clean sheet. I tried to offer him pizza like Claudio Ranieri. It did not work at all. I really wanted to sell Josh Maja, as even though he had an explosive first season with us, I wanted to make this realistic in a way, like listen to offers, sell some players. What I didn't came across was the whole Kyoga situation. Now, let me explain you the story of why I chose him. So, it was my day off from work, and I was taking my dog for a walk, and I just really couldn't think of a striker. I thought, who could I get to make this career mode slightly little bit realistic, as well as that a good striker for us? And I thought, I can't think of anyone. Literally, no one was coming on top of my head. And then all of a sudden, just like a bolt of lightning, I thought, oh, who's that Japanese fellow who's played for Celtic? Because I know, like I said, former English League raid Scottish players all the while. So, and God, he turned out to be a club legend for us. I will admit, 5th season with him, really was tempted to get rid of him because he was driving me up the wall. But then that hat trick in the Champions League finals against Milan was something else, I swear. And probably up to that legendary player. Also, speaking of legendary players, Linton Maina. Yeah, the meme that just kept on going around my channel. Like every time I was in like a new career mode, I said, oh, let me buy Linton. I had to try and convince my brother to do some of those intros. It was just quite funny. Him saying to me, no, I don't want to do it. I said, look, this is quite an interesting one this time. And literally, he was just so good for me. And like I said, counter-attack and football, he was that good. A bit overpowered in the championship, but I didn't really care. He was just, oh God, just thinking about it now is absolutely orgasmic. Literally, in my 3rd season with him, I had bids coming across for 80 million for him. And to be honest with you, I still wasn't going to sell him. I did decide to sell Linton. Especially it was buying out of all clubs. I thought, come on, that's a realistic offer. Playing for the best club in Germany, I had to accept that one. I was happy going for an FA Cup run, especially winning it in our 2nd attempt. I thought that's really good, especially the first time how we failed to get across it. Then offered 2nd time meant so much more. Again, it just makes it more special. But a real reason why I didn't like this game or this team completely was my last season. I hated every second player with them. And it was kind of my fault, really, because I brought some old players in. They were on the decline a lot. And it was just getting really frustrating to play a game with them. I was just putting off every little excuse. I was like, oh, I'm about to play a game. Okay, I'll just have a shower. You know that feeling where you just don't have the energy to do it? I was just hating it. I will say, though, Tomori, best centre-back in the game, hands down. In 5th place, I've gone with Saint-Etienne. You may have already noticed this, but this is one of the most ragiest career modes I have ever played with in my life. I think I broke my controller in this one. I can't remember what game it was. I think it was against PSG. Not the one where I had the worst ever loss. That was just something else. But just, oh God. It's just what annoyed me so much when you're 3-0 up, 2-0 up. Most times I'll be comfortable. But for this team, they'll let it slip like no time. And I was just on the verge of just want to scream into something so bad. But I did, to be honest with you, I loved the journey. It was my first ever time being in a relegation battle, which I actually loved. Because I usually just tend to get into Europe in my second season or so whatever. But being in a relegation battle was such an incredible feeling. But the problem was, which I blame the game for, players just want to leave straight away. They don't want to be in a relegation battle. It's like, yeah, what's that? And then leave. I had so many players wanting to leave after the first season, which was incredibly frustrating. And I kind of thought in the back of the head, I kind of wanted to be relegated. That's the first ever time anyone said that. But just have that feeling of being relegated brings like a new edge, a new story to the career mode. But those 2 live games really saved us, I can't lie with that. And I mentioned about players wanting to leave. Well, this player, I wanted to leave, make him leave a lot sooner. It's Mayer. Yep, our striker. Now, I was very criticism on him. I did gutted him really badly, just like a fish. Cool, blimey. But in that second season in Liga, he was just diabolical. Seriously, from 5 yards out, he was missing cities. And you can just wonder why I named this the most ragiest career mode out of the bunch. It was just awful. And I wanted to keep him. I wanted to make him the newest Benzema in this league, but I just couldn't stand him. So when Marseille said 30 million, I shook their hands so fast I couldn't believe it. Someone I gladly, happily would sign again in another career mode is Elax. He was just a hidden gem in this whole entire career mode. I couldn't believe it. The best centre mid in the game for me. Absolutely wonderful. Overlooked a lot, to be honest with you. And I recommend him to any other career mode, to be honest with you. Now, I did make a lot of funny memes about Duranville being like a wizard or anything, like the Harry Potter memes. How that's come across was quite funny, to be honest with you. So in December, I decided to take a break from filming career modes. I was way ahead of the schedule as always. And his girlfriend, got me Hogwarts Legacy, I think it's called. Yeah, the Harry Potter game. And I got so addicted to that. So I kind of innovated it into my career mode videos with Duran, making so many Harry Potter memes. And speaking of funny jokes I threw, do I joke about the women referee? Well, if you were in my shoes and had that many bad decisions, let me know how that goes. Now let's talk about another fella. Orban. It's a love-hate relationship with him. Like, I seen this guy destroy teams left, right and centre. And he was such a good replacement. But then other games, I would just literally be Homer Simpson on Bart Simpson to strangle him because he peed me off so much. And that all came across in my second Champions League finals, which I'll get into the first one later. But the second game, first half, he absolutely was diabolical. I took him off for Sydney. And Sydney, his definition of a super sub, saved us and won us the Champions League. And I would tell you a funny story about Sydney, but I can't due to confidentiality when it comes to my work. But now let's talk about the elephant in the room. The Champions League final against Borussia Dortmund, where I lost. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my first ever loss in a Champions League finals. I wanted to quit the career mode there. Literally, I was on a verge of a mental breakdown. I literally had 2 mental breakdowns while playing during that whole entire career mode. You can probably guess which one was one of them. But just, oh, my brother was asleep. I was screaming in my head. I wanted to freaking yell so badly. I made me want to quit FC24 completely. Yeah, I took it that serious. It was just diabolical. We were 4-1 up, and we absolutely flipping let it aside. This career mode just brought me nothing but rage, I swear down. And the other time, well, it was against the whole PSG rivalry. One of the best rivalries I had all time. When they embarrassed me 6-0, where I failed to beat them over and over again, including losing on penalties in the trophy. This rivalry never ended down until the final game of the season, the invincible streak, and then I finally beat a PSG. That moment will live for me in infinite. Fourth place, I've chosen St. Pauli. I found this career mode too passionate, to be honest with you, and this is why I've proven that being too passionate over something is a bad thing, as it kind of brought a little bit of anger out of me, I'm not going to lie. Why I ranked this so low was because, well, this is the career mode I figured out I was playing on old gen, and I was already 3 seasons in before, well, I changed it to new gen and I had to start the career mode again. But even though it felt like a kick in the nuts, it was also a blessing in disguise, because then I was able to figure out who was good for me and which players weren't. And the likes of Bayer, Noah, Atunye, Jamie, Sulla, I had them in my first attempt and I knew they were freaking brilliant. So when I got them in here, I knew straight off the way they're going to be hitting the bricks running. In the new gen, no, Maximilian Bayer was so close to being on the chopping block. Absolutely quiet most games, frustrating, yes, but that's only because in the Bundesliga he turned up in a whole different level. That was his league. Now, I want to address something about this career mode. This is my most hated career mode by some of you lot. And it's only because of my name pronunciations. Yes, I'm not the best at pronouncing names. I am absolutely terrible. But some of the comments were just absolutely made me angry. I just could not take it. I deleted them because I don't want to be reminded of how much people didn't like it. Here's the thing. If you don't like it that I butcher some of the players' name, A, I'm sorry, and B, if you don't like it, watch another career mode of someone else doing St. Pauli. Because I'm not going to bend over backward to then only get stupid threats online. It's absolutely ridiculous. Sorry for that little rant, but that just had to get out of me. I want to talk about something what happened in the Bundesliga. I think it was in Season 2, Episode 2, where I had 2 live games to attempt to get into Europe. Now, first of all, I got spanked by Mainz. No, was it Borussia? It was Borussia Mönchengladbach. I got absolutely spanked. But in the Mainz game, oh boy, with that hilarious own goal. Let me tell you a story about that. So, me and my brother were meant to be going out that day. I think it was like a Halloween festival. And I said, hey, let me just play this quick game. And it's only against Mainz, it'll be fine. I was raging because I was 3-0 down or 3-1 down. Then that own goal came in. My brother came in. He was laughing. I was crying. I could not believe that I won the game because of that goal. And it's something that always sticks in my mind. I will admit, just that funny moment. Now, the best ever season I had in all my career modes was season number 4 with St. Pauli, because we were something else. I've never had so much fun playing a career mode in season number 4. We were just diabolical. We were just out of this world, literally. And if you don't believe me, Maximilian Bayer, that's 7 goals against Wolfsburg. I couldn't believe it. That is something out of the record books, I swear down. It just happened to be against Wolfsburg, like Lewandowski did. So incredible. And then I thought season number 5 will get better. No, it was the worst I ever played of a career mode club. I could not stand him. I don't know what happened. It was just like a flip of the coin. We had one good end next, and next season we had something terrible. I was just playing crap. Luis Enrique should have never brought that Brazilian. Yeah, then again, he did win with the Champions League in the 90th minute, but just absolute dreadful. Aslani, I will praise, one of the best centre mids I played in the game. I even got the shirt with the name on the back of it. That Champions League run was a blessing, also a disaster, I will think. Especially one game, I think it was the semi-finals against Manchester United. I stayed up quite late, to be honest with you, even though I think I was late for a work meeting, to be honest with you. So I was running on fumes, let's just say. Literally, wanted to get that game done, then I was late for work. But that Champions League finals was something I will never forget for the rest of my life. It's up there with Luton Town. It's just absolutely incredible. And here's a little secret I didn't tell you lot. I sold 90% of the players at the end of season number 5. If I didn't win the Champions League, then you may notice I've sold majority of those players, and they had their reasons why they had to go. Third place, I've chosen Bari. Now, the first thing I want to address with that title, yeah, Mr. Hawks Cox. Now, I want to say something. I did not come up with that thumbnail. I did not come up with the title. It was completely my brother. And it turns out to be one of the most best intros I've ever had, as literally so many people loved it completely. So thanks to my brother on that one. Now, I was going to say this was the most ragiest career mode, but Saint-Etienne took that one. But it was just because of the defence, really. It was just absolutely awful. It would make David Attenborough want to punch a panda how awful this defence was. But the theory I went for is scoring more goals and afterwards play the ball to Fofana, Miranda, Simeone, or Stiana. Those players are in my Hall of Fame. Absolutely brilliant. Even though trying to buy higher rated centre-backs, it still did not fix the problem. As I was conceding absolutely everything. It was driving me up the freaking wall. And I didn't want to change the formation because I loved playing with the centre-forwards. It was my first ever time playing with a centre-forward in the game. And I thought, you know what, this is actually brilliant. Season number 1 will still go down as my best ever season with Bari. With literally Joseph Mendes. Brilliant playoff, especially that Rondon extra time goal. Absolutely incredible. I did regret buying too many old players, but it's how Serie A kind of works, so it didn't want really my fault. Now, on to the young talent that is David Fofana. Absolute amazing. Absolute incredible for the 2 seasons I had with him. Fit this team perfectly. Perfect. Just perfect. From the inch, you know the quote. It was just a shock when I tried to buy him the following season. His price literally tripled. Now, my brother explained to this. It was something to do with the loan glitch. So, if your player had a good season, their overall would instantly shoot back from their parent club. It's happened before. And to be honest with you, it's pretty stupid. The glitch was the one reason why we couldn't bring back the legend that is David Fofana. Now, what else was legendary was our rivalry with Napoli. Now, I could not beat Napoli to save my life. They were hard to play against. They were just like, it was like PSG and Saint-Etienne or Luton and Man City. It was a rivalry. It was a grudge I had against them. And absolutely frustrated. Every live game was against them. And it was a cancer in my soul that I could not beat Napoli. But that day when I won, I was on the Zambuca. I swear down, that was such a good moment. My last season, season number 5, everything went to hell. I kind of made some terrible decisions. Raheem Sterling. And it was kind of nice getting justice for Miranda. Especially literally that playoff finals. That Champions League finals he had was incredible. Now here's a little secret. I wish I never would have said this, but I said Miranda was one of our own. He isn't. No, sorry to disappoint you. I did it clickbait. Mr. Hawk revealed. Yeah, he was a free agent I got just to get squad numbers up. But I decided to play as him as a centre forward, and turns out he is brilliant. So yeah, sorry, let the cat out of the bag there. Second place, I've chosen Real Zaragoza. This series brought me faith. This series brought me joy. This series brought me encouragement to play career mode again. I had such a blast playing with the Real Zaragoza. From the start to the end, I absolutely loved it. There are only 2 negatives I can think of. I had a little bit of a tough start, and I will say I had a little few Minecraft breaks to cool me off. And second of all, the Champions League finals. I didn't want it to end. That's my only opinion. I did not want it to end. And it was kind of a short series, only 4 seasons in, and I won the Champions League. That says it all. So I even turned that match against Inter on Ultimate, which I said to myself I'll never do again. Now, how the whole Brexit thing came across about it, to be honest with you, I just needed a formation. And when it came 4-4-2, I was like, okay, I'll play with this formation for now. And then afterwards I'll get some players and make a better formation. But no, that was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. And literally, my season 2, episode 1, episode Liga Meet Brexit, it's still today one of the most popular videos that isn't an introduction of a new career mode. I got more views than my freaking introduction that I'm doing Real Zaragoza career mode. It was just absolutely incredible. And I think I kind of stuck and played that little story of Brexit into La Liga style. I absolutely found that hilarious. Now let's talk about the tank in the room, shall we? Ivan. Hands down, I'm going to be controversial saying this, is currently the best striker I've played with in FC24. I know, Hans, shocking, but he had it all. I wanted like a fast striker just to fit that role, but then I realised strength was the key, and Ivan had it all. He could literally make the world rotate if he wants to, and oh gosh. Don't get me wrong, Manu was good, but when it came to Ivan, Latares gets a shout out as well. He was incredible. Like the tag team, more deadlier than the Usos and the Dudley boys, swear down. Because afterwards I realised I can score from corners. I can do it all with these two. They were just absolutely credible. Now, when I started this career mode, I did say about I could only buy players in the same league, as well as that add and release clause, which I kind of enjoyed that. And I probably will stick to that if I'm doing another La Liga based career mode. Now it's time for confession, as I definitely did sin. Season 2, Episode 1. You know most of those players I signed? Yeah, I forgot to give them a release clause. Now, it wasn't technically my fault. Well, it kind of is my fault, but I had my mate's 60th birthday party. I was filming me doing the transfers right away. I had a few pre-drinks, and I just normally just skip the release clause, we don't need it. And then I realised the next day afterwards. So, sorry about that, hands in the air. And I did realise that I should have added a release clause to some of the players, because when I sold them, I managed to find even better replacements, like Tony went and I found Gabriel Sarra, a brilliant centre mid. I am a bit disappointed in the youth academy, as I was able to find gems with Saint-Etienne and Bahrain, but I could not find nobody for Real Zaragoza. Absolutely disappointing there. And oh, by the way, Philippe Jorgensen, best goalkeeper in the game, hands down. Absolute hands down, no brainer. Now, other regret, I kind of put more attention in the international duty more. But don't get me wrong, when USA came across and them being the World Cup host, I thought, why not? There's no harm in that. And in that final I had against England, I'm not going to lie to you, it wasn't the first time when I faced him. I won 5-4, and then my game crashed, got corrupted the footage. So I had to start again, absolutely bad, in which I absolutely hate, because I next the video on fun and unpopular. Then when I took over the Spanish women's team, my brother gave me the idea of doing it, especially what happened last World Cup. I thought, yeah, definitely, I've got to go for it. And it was the first time playing with the women's team. And I think they're coming out in career mode FC25, and I'm really starting to get interested in doing a women's career mode. First place, it had to be Torquay United. Now, this career mode was a definition of a storybook. It was from the beginning to the end, where I had decided to apply the debt situation to Torquay, especially what they're going through right now. I thought it'd be a good idea to look up how much they're in debt, add that to my minus transfer budget, and add the sell players to make it up. I thought it was actually a good idea and made it more interesting and challenging for myself. And when I got promoted in my first season, I did not expect it. Honestly, we went on this massive run. Mateo Joseph, absolute gen for me. I couldn't bring him back. That's the most annoying thing. And I kind of wish I did, to be honest with you. But just going through all seasons, like failing to win the League One playoffs through that dramatic game against Charlton Athletic, then getting promoted. Failing to get promoted into the Premier League, then go for it again, but went for the automatic route. And then just so much tail to the story, and it was so good. It's currently my most unpopular career mode due to the lack of views, but I think me and my brother come to the conclusion that's when FC24 decided to die down, and there wasn't too much to say about it. What I did do with most of my transfer budget, even though I couldn't sell it, I did set up the youth academy, and boy oh boy, I found some gems. As we'll talk about the one later, but also I had to say, the one regret I did say, I signed too many overpowered players in my repeat in League One, like that 75 Lewis Morgan, who turned out to be like a club legend for me. I kind of regretted it how much high rated he is, and it's kind of OP for the League One, I gotta admit. That's why next career mode, my brother is going to be applying me an overall cap, saying what players I can get or what rated players I can get, just to make it more challenging, which I completely understand. But some games I want to talk about real quickly, especially that final game for Lewis Morgan in the Europa League finals against Milan. I still had nightmares from Plymouth, my infamous rage where the referee blew half time on the corner, but just passing the torch to Ibrahim Banks over here. He was just so good. I had him on loan. I loaned him out, sorry, 2 seasons ago. But then I noticed he's growing up a lot on overalls. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to play him. No harm in trying that. And it turns out he was absolutely incredible. So I wanted to build that story of Lewis Morgan passes the torch, and that was just perfect at the end. Absolutely brilliant. Now, in my season in the Championship, I will admit I fell for my same curse. I brought some overpowered players. I didn't regret signing Oscar Bob. Oscar Bob was someone who I played with at FC Santa Claus. I thought he's incredible. And I thought, oh, I wish I had him a lot more for a rebuild. And he was just there, and I was like, yes, we've got to get this guy. Munez, on the other hand, I'm kind of glad I sold him the following season afterwards, because he actually wanted to leave after losing the playoff finals, which was a bit like, okay, but in a way I was quite happy. I was like, okay, I can make it realistic. My players disappointed, wanted to leave and that, which I'm glad they did, because then afterwards I decided to play with Hornby, and I will admit he is 10 times more the striker Luis Munez was, to be honest with you. He was so good for me, up top forward for me. To be honest with you, he was consistent. He never pulled a bad game for me, but he always was consistent to the very end. I do feel bad dropping him for David Washington, but I just want to take the club to the next level. And Washington, I thought, okay, yeah, he's the guy for me. And speaking of guys who I was tempted to get a new replacement in, Joe, the Australian. Now, I wasn't too certain on him when I first signed him, because I was going to go for someone else, but there was a little voice in my head thinking he was... I can't remember who it was, but he was too overpowered. So I'm like, no, I'll go with Joe, see how it goes on. And sometimes he would have bad games, but 90% of the times he had absolute worldies. You cannot stop Joe. I can't remember what game it was. I think it was against Milan or somewhere where he absolutely saved everything. And I couldn't believe it when he freaking did that unstoppable save against Haaland in the Champions League. It was something incredible. But it just felt like an absolute storybook with Torquay United. How it went from bottom, from being in debt, to then winning the Champions League with them. And it's got me considering about doing some other clubs who have fallen down into the lower divisions and that, and afterwards do like a road to glory, like a praise to him. Like, I honestly thought about doing Hereford before Torquay United. Remember them, the logo with the cows? But no, I thought Torquay was too perfect. It was close to Cornwall, which I've got a big passion for, and absolutely made sense. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be ending the video today, where we ranked all the career mode series I did on my channel. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you got any more questions about these career modes, give it a comment down below. I absolutely enjoyed them no matter what. There was no career mode that I absolutely detested or hated. It was just, like I said, it was all fun, and what I was more happy with you lot enjoying it as well, because I got so much support, so much likes. We gained so many subscribers, new people to the channel, which absolutely blows my mind that this time last year I never thought that we would reach 500 subscribers, but now we did, which absolutely is incredible, and I do appreciate it from each and one of you. So again, take care everyone, see you lot in the next video, and I'll see you a lot later.